House come to order. Members, our prayer today will be given by Pamela Hudson Pruitt, who works at Tuscaloosa chapter of Link Incorporation.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we come to you this morning in prayer. You alone are worthy of all the glory, honor, and praise. We thank you for strength, patience, and passion to make a positive difference in the world. Let us pray for stronger communities and collectively address issues affecting those who are the most vulnerable in our society. Let us pray for our leaders. Lord, may they understand and lead according to your righteous standards and bring blessings to our state and to our country. Let us love one another as you love us. We know that the greatest commandment is in the book of Matthew, to love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. The second is to love your neighbor as yourself. Lord, our hope is in you and your word, that it will sustain us, guide us, and give us wisdom in the midst of all that is happening around us. Strengthen us with joyful hearts and sustain us to continue to inspire solutions that will give us a future filled with hope. And Father, as we close this prayer, we thank you for your Son Jesus, his death, burial, and above all, for Resurrection Sunday. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Members, today's Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Lakeisha Hawkins. She works with Huntsville chapter of Links Incorporated.
Good morning and greetings from all of the Alabama chapters of the Links Incorporated. Please join me in reciting the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Clerk, call the roll.
Mr. Speaker, Allman, Baker, Bedsole, Blackshear, Bolton, Boyd, Bracy, Brown, Butler, Carnes, Chestnut, Clark, Klaus, Cole, Collins, Colvin, Crawford, Daniels, Drummond, Dubose, Easterbrook, Ellis, England, Ensler, Estes, Faulkner, Fiddler, Fincher, Fort, Garrett, Gidley, Gavan, Gibbons, Gray, Hall, Hammett, Harbison, Harrison, Hassel, Hill, Hulk, Jones, Hollis, Halsey, Hurst, Ingram, Jackson, Jones, Keel, Kirkland, Kitchens, Lamb, Lawrence, Lee, Lipscomb, Lomax, Lovern, Marcus, McCampbell, McClammy, Mooney, Moore M, Moore P, Morris, Oliver, Paramore, Pascal, Pettis, Plump, Pringle, Rafferty, Ream, Reynolds, Rigsby, Robbins, Robertson, Rogers, Sellers, Sells, Shaver, Shed, Shiver, Shiree, Simpson, Smith, Sorrells, South, Stadhagen, Standridge, Starn, Stringer, Stubbs, Tillman, Travis, Treadaway, Underwood, Loris, Wadsworth, Warren, Whit, Wharton, Wilcox, Wood D, Wood R, Woods, Yarborough.
Sixty-one members have an answer to the roll. Quorum is present. The House is ready to transact business. The chair recognizes the gentleman from Lee, Chairman Lovern.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I request that leaves of absence be granted for absent members.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, the leave of absence is excused. Members are excused. The chair further recognizes the gentleman from Lee, Mr. Lovern.
Mr. Speaker, I have a report.
House of Representatives, your Standing Committee on Rules begs leave to report that it has carefully examined the Journal of the House for the 6th legislative day and finds the same to be correct. Representative Joe Lovern, Chairman.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the reading of the journal at length for the 6th legislative day be dispensed with.
Are there any objections? Hearing no objections, the reading of the journal is dispensed with. The chair recognizes the gentleman from Mobile, purpose of making announcements. Mr. Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, I have two announcements. Today is Alabama Habitat Advocacy Day. There'll be a policy housing discussion in room 418 between 9 and 11. And Alabama Habitat Advocacy Day lunch event will be on the Capitol lawn from 12 to 2. Thank you.
Mr. Pringle is further recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I move that when the House adjourns today, we reconvene on April the 11th at 1 p.m. and we leave the journal open for the clerk to finish his work today.
All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. The motion prevails. I'd like to recognize Representative Chairman Reynolds for a point of personal privilege. Chairman Reynolds.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. If I could ask for those in the Madison County delegation, please come join me. And also the Tuscaloosa delegation. Our officer worked 7 years with your agency as well. If you're Tuscaloosa, if you'd join us. The Senate resolution on the thing. The Senate resolution come down. You don't have a copy of it. Thank you, members. This Monday, I was joined by several of the delegation as we buried yet another Alabama police officer, Officer Garrett Crumby. Crumby served 3 years with the Huntsville Police Department and 7 years with the Tuscaloosa Police Department. And quite frankly, he was cowardly murdered the week before. We continue to see this devastation in America, and we are we're not blocked from it here in the state of Alabama. Officer Crumby was just a very lighthearted gentleman. They read part of his evaluation during the funeral on Monday, and talked about what his young tenure was, but yet what a huge impact that he was already having on the officers around him and the community. I had the opportunity to meet and talk with his wife, Taylor, and certainly the family is devastated. I'd ask you to keep them in your prayers. And as Albert Morin continues to heal in the hospital, certainly keep him in your prayers as well. And also the men and women that serve in this body continue to serve in law enforcement. But if we could, Mr. Speaker, just have a moment of silence, please. Thank you, member. God bless our men and women in uniform.
Here, here.
Thank you, Chairman Reynolds. Our thoughts and prayers are with the family, and let's continue to pray for them as they go through the tough times. The chair would like to recognize on behalf of Wood and Gidley, Daniel and Carl Tatum, the third generation farmers of the Calhoun County, growing cotton, soybeans, and cattle. Let's recognize them. It's good to have you with us today. They are the 2022 Alabama Farmers Federation Outstanding Young Family and recognized in the American Farm Bureau. Congratulations. It's good to have you with us here today. Thank you for what you do for our state. The clerk will now receive reports from standing committees. Receive those reports throughout the day. The House is now in position to introduce bills and resolutions en masse. The House
House.
now, I'm sorry, Clay. What? The House now receive the resolution report from committee rules and clerk and resolutions.
House Joint Resolution number 33 by Representative Gidley, commending Coach Michael Robertson on being inducted into the Alabama High School Hall of Fame. House Joint Resolution number 37 by Representative Whitt, honoring the memory of Chief Warrant Officer Danny Randolph and Daniel Wadham of the Tennessee National Guard. House Joint Resolution number 40 by Representative Ledbetter, commemorating the 77th Southern Legislative Conference of the Council of State Governments, Southern Office. House Joint Resolution number 47 by Representative Garrett, commending Three of a String for being inducted into the Alabama Music Hall of Fame. House Joint Resolution number 48 by Representative Reynolds, commending Hazel Green High School girls basketball team for winning the 6A state tournament. House Joint Resolution number 50 by Representative Gidley, commending Alexis Calvert for providing emergency medical care to a fellow student. House Joint Resolution number 51 by Representative Garrett, commending Steve Giddens for being inducted into the Alabama High School Sports Hall of Fame. House Joint Resolution number 52 by Representative Robertson, congratulating the Jacksonville High School Golden Eagle boys varsity team on their 2022-2023 season. House Joint Resolution number 53 by Representative Kirkland, mourning the death of former Representative Johnny Lawson Robinson. House Joint Resolution number 58 by Representative Harbison, commending Taiwan for its relations with the United States and the state of Alabama. House Joint Resolution number 61 by Representative Mooney, mourning the death of Aubrey D. Barnard, Jr. Senate Joint Resolution number 8 by Senator Orr, honoring the 75th anniversary of the State of Israel and affirming the bonds of friendship and cooperation between Alabama and Israel. Senate Joint Resolution number 17 by Senator Roberts, mourning the death of Mrs. Patricia C. Faulkner. Senate Joint Resolution number 20 by Senator Butler, mourning the death and celebrating the life of Officer Garrett Coulter Crumby. Senate Joint Resolution number 21 by Senator Chambliss, commending John and Ann Boutwell for winning the Daniel Pratt Industrial Award.
Mr. Speaker, I move for adoption.
The chair would like to recognize the lady from Madison, Representative Hall.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm trying to understand. I don't have my rule book in here, so I'm trying. The process that we're using now, taking the resolutions, generally before, since these are all congratulatory, tell me what the process is now compared to what the process has been before with rules.
Okay. As far as resolutions, it is the same. The only thing we're asking as a courtesy, if you have a time-sensitive resolution, get it to us the day of so we can look at, make sure it's a time-sensitive and help you expedite that. That's the only real change we have.
And so with the joint resolutions, we're still using that same process that we've used in the past, because we have a large number, and I'm assuming we have a large number now because, now I haven't had a chance to look at them. There's one on there that I would just want to look at, so I have not. So just as a matter of nosy people like me who want to know, when would I be able to have a copy of the resolutions that are going to be presented?
The one there's a copy from today, one of today's resolutions.
I have the list.
Okay.
I'm saying, but if I wanted a specific resolution to make sure I'm comfortable with it, when would I be able to have a copy of that resolution before, as it's getting ready to be presented?
We can get a copy of the text, and I think Representative Allman may have a copy with her right now if you want to look at that review.
Well, we're ready to vote, so I mean, mine is not, but I think there's a lot. How many resolutions are we doing
Oh,
today?
there's a lot. There was
Yes.
several in mass. We had several filed. We're trying to expedite for the members that need them done. In a
And
timely
that's
manner.
fine. I don't have a problem. I just like to know what they are, because before we've had resolutions and I may not have wanted them. And I think when we're taking this many into consideration, that I'd like to have an idea of what we're voting on.
Certainly. And Representative Allman was on our Rules Committee as head of the subcommittee for resolutions, and she keeps the details and helps present them to the Rules Committee for adoption. And so any of the specific details, you can either come to my office, myself or Tara will get you a copy, or we can get you with Representative Allman for more details if there's any that you have a question or comment about.
So there was one, the one that dealt with, I think it was by Senator Orr, a Senate joint resolution.
Got one honoring the 75th anniversary of the State of Israel, reaffirming the bonds of
Yes.
friendship and cooperation between Alabama and Israel.
And what specific is it doing?
Okay. Would you mind if I defer to Representative Allman to answer
Not
your
at all.
questions?
The chair would like to recognize Representative Almond.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members, and thank you, Ms. Allman. And so especially when you have a large number like that, I think it is important for us to have a good idea of what they are. So I look forward to us working through that concern.
Oh, absolutely. I want you to have an answer to any question you have, Ms. Hall. You know that.
A move by the chairman to adopt the resolution in mass. All those in favor will say aye. Any opposed? Resolutions has been adopted. Clerk will now call the next resolution.
House Resolution number 30 by Representative Crawford, encouraging the United States Congress and National Security Council to formally review the status of forces agreement between the United States and Japan.
All those in favor of the HCR say aye. Any opposed? Resolution is adopted.
House Joint Resolution number 34 by Representative Pringle, recognizing May 2023 as Tuberous Sclerosis Complex Awareness Month.
All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Resolution is adopted.
House Resolution number 46 by Representative Hill, commending St. Clair Children's Advocacy Center, the Children's Place, and recognizing April 2023 as Child Abuse Prevention Month.
All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. The resolution has been adopted.
House Joint Resolution number 49 by Representative Hill, commending St. Clair Children's Advocacy Center, the Children's Place, and recognizing April 2023 as Child Abuse Prevention Month.
All those in favor of HJR 49 say aye. Any opposed? The resolution is adopted.
House Joint Resolution number 54 by Representative Gavan, recognizing April as Alcohol Awareness Month.
All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? The resolution is adopted.
House Joint Resolution number 57 by Representative Moore P., supporting the repair and continued maintenance of Wilson Lock and Dam on the Tennessee River.
All those in favor of the resolution will say aye. Any opposed? The resolution is adopted.
House Joint Resolution number 59 by Representative Marcus, a resolution to improve the care of atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease.
All those in favor of HJR 59 say aye. Any opposed? Resolution is adopted.
House Joint Resolution number 60 by Representative Lamb, naming the bridge at exit 100 on Interstate 20, the Bradley Johnson Memorial Bridge.
All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Resolution is adopted. Clerk, call the first uncontested bill on the on the regular order calendar.
On page 20 of the calendar, House Bill number 107 with substitute by Representative Gavan relating to Jefferson County.
Okay. Question for the body on HB 107 is the adoption of the BIR. Clerk will unlock the machine and members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine and record the vote. 39 ayes, 0 nays, 31 abstain. The BR has passed. We have a substitute on HB 107. Is any questions on the substitute? If none, clerk will unlock the machine, record the votes. Clerk will lock the machine, record the votes. 19 ayes, 0 nays, 72 abstain. The resolution has been adopted. Question now is final passage on HB 107. All those in favor will vote aye. Those not vote no. Clerk will unlock the machine, record the members' votes. Clerk will lock the machine, record the votes. 17 ayes, 0 nays, 82 abstain. The bill has passed. Clerk, call up the next bill.
On page 20 of the calendar, House Bill number 108 by Representative Gavan relating to Jefferson County.
Question now on HB 107 is adoption of the BIR. Clerk will unlock the machines. Members will vote. Clerk will lock the machines, record the votes. House Bill 108, 22 ayes, 2 nays, 74 abstain. BR pass. Is that right?
Mr. Speaker, I move to reconsider. I withdraw my motion.
Motion has been withdrawn. Clerk, call the next bill on calendar.
On page 15 of the calendar, House Bill number 113 with substitute by Representative Crawford relating to Limestone County.
Question for the body is adoption of the BRR on HB 113. Clerk will unlock the machines, record the votes. Clerk will lock the machines, record the votes. 39 ayes, 0 nays, 66 abstain. Members, there is a substitute. If there's not any questions on the substitute, we move for the adoption of the substitute. Clerk will unlock the machines. Members will vote. Clerk will lock the machines, record the votes. 26 ayes, 0 nays, and 73 abstentions. HB 113 will go to final vote. The substitute has been adopted. Question now is final passage of HB 113. Clerk will unlock the machines. All those in favor will vote aye. Opposed, no. Clerk will lock the machines, record the votes. 22 ayes, 0 nays, and 78 abstentions. The bill has passed. Clerk will call the next bill on the local calendar.
On page 19 of the calendar, Senate Bill number 63 by Senator Wagner relating to the city of Vestavia Hills.
The question for the body is adoption of the BIR. Clerk will unlock the machines. Members will vote. Remind everybody we have to have 32 votes to adopt the BIR. Clerk will lock the machines, record the votes. 48 ayes, 1 nay, 54 abstentions. Bill's passed. Question now is final passage of HB 63. Clerk will unlock the machines and members will vote. Clerk will lock the machines. $28 ayes, 1 nay, 71 abstention. The bill is passed. The chair recognizes the gentleman from Lee, Chairman Lovern.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have a resolution.
Clerk will receive the resolution.
House Resolution number 62 by the House Rules Committee. Be it resolved by the House of Representatives of the Legislature of Alabama that immediately following upon the adoption of this resolution, the following business in the order set forth below shall be the special and paramount order of business for the 7th legislative day, taking precedence over the regular order business or any pending unfinished business. The special order calendar.
Chairman Levin, you are recognized.
Move for adoption.
Members, the question of the body is adoption of the special order calendar. Those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Clerk, call the first bill on the special order calendar.
On page 25 of the calendar, House Bill number 192 by Representative Reynolds relating to the Alabama Board of Massage Therapy.
Chairman Reynolds, you're recognized to explain the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, HB 192 is the sunset review of the Alabama Board of Massage Therapy. That board has been in existence since 1996. There were two minor significant issues, one related to the declining cash balance of the organization, and the second related to the board members in the manner in which they are appointed. However, the sunset recommends 4 years continued until 2027. I'll ask for the BIR, Mr. Speaker. Ask for the BIR, Mr. Speaker.
Question for the body is the passage of the BIR. Clerk will unlock the machines and members will vote. Clerk will lock the machines, record the votes. 91 ayes, 0 nays, 7 abstained. The BIR has passed. Chairman Reynolds.
I call for the final passage.
That's the question, the final passage of HB 192. Clerk will unlock the machines, members will vote. Clerk will lock the machines, record the votes. 97 ayes, 2 nays, 4 abstentions. HB 192 has passed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, body.
Mr. Chairman. Clerk, call the next bill on calendar.
On page 26 of the calendar, House Bill number 193 by Representative Simpson relating to the State Licensing Board for General Contractors.
Chairman Simpson, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the recognition. HB 193 is the Sunset Committee bill relating to the existence and functioning of the State Licensure Board for General Contractors. It is the recommendation of the Sunset Committee that this be set over for 1 year to keep on the regular calendar.
You have heard HB 193. The question for the body now is the adoption of the BIR. Clerk will unlock machines. Members will vote. Clerk will lock the machines, record the votes. 103 ayes, 0 nays, 1 abstentions. Chairman Simpson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The next bill is HB 194.
Whoa, we got to do final passage.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we did final passage. I'm sorry. Going too fast. I apologize.
Question for the body now is final passage of HB 193. Clerk will unlock the machine and members will vote. Clerk will lock the machines, record the votes. 101 ayes, 0 nays, 2 abstentions. 193 has passed. Chairman Simpson, you're further recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Next would be, yep.
Clerk, call the next bill on special order.
On page 26 of the calendar, House Bill number 194 by Representative Simpson relating to the Alabama On-Site Wastewater Board.
Chairman Simpson.
Yes, this HB 194 relates to the sunset law containing the existence and functioning of the Alabama On-Site Wastewater Board. It is the recommendation of the Sunset Committee that this be continued for 4 years. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I ask for the BIR.
That's the question. Is the passage of the BIR. Clerk will unlock machines. The members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the vote. 101 ayes, 0 nays, 4 abstention. BIR passed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I ask for final passage.
That's question. Final passage of HB 194. All those in favor will vote aye. Opposed will vote no. Clerk will unlock the machine. Members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the votes. 96 ayes, 2 nays, 7 abstentions. HB 194 has passed. Clerk, call next bill.
On page 26 of the calendar, House Bill number 195 by Representative Simpson relating to the Alabama Real Estate Commission.
Chairman Simpson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. HB 195 relates to the Alabama Sunset Committee reviewing the Alabama Real Estate Commission. It is the recommendation of the Sunset Committee that this review be continued until 2024 to put them back on their normal schedule rotation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Question now is adoption of the BIR on HB 195. Clerk will unlock the machines, record the members' votes. Clerk will lock the machines. 101 ayes, 0 nays, 2 abstentions.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And with that, I ask for final passage.
That is the question, is final passage of HB 195. All the members in favor will vote aye. Opposed, vote nay. Clerk will unlock machine, record the votes. Clerk will lock the machine, record the votes. 100 ayes, 0 nays, 2 abstentions. HB 195 has passed. Clerk, call the next bill.
On page 27 of the calendar, House Bill number 196 by Representative Simpson relating to the Alabama Professional Bail Bonding Board.
Chairman Simpson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. HB 196 relates to the Sunset Committee review of the Alabama Professional Bail Bonding Board. It is the recommendation of the Sunset Committee that this review be continued until October of 2025 to a 2-year review. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I ask for the BIR.
Question is a BIR. Clerk will unlock machines, record the members' votes. Clerk will lock the machine, record the votes. 98 ayes, 1 nay, 2 abstentions. HB 196 has passed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And with that, I ask for final passage.
Question for the body now is final passage of HB 196. Clerk will unlock the machines. The members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the votes. 97 ayes, 1 nay, 6 abstentions. HB 196 has passed. Clerk, call the next bill.
On page 27 of the calendar, House Bill number 197 by Representative Shedd relating to the Alabama State Board of Occupational Therapy.
Chairman Shedd, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is a Board of Occupational Therapy. The Sunset Committee has reviewed this board and recommends that we continue this board for 4 years through 2027. If there are no questions, Mr. Speaker, I move BIR.
That is the question. The members will vote. Clerk will unlock machine. Members vote. The BIR on 197. Clerk will lock the machine, record the votes. There's 99 ayes, 0 nays, 2 abstention. BR has passed. Chairman Shedd.
Mr. Speaker, for no questions, I move final passage.
That is question final passage of HB 197. Clerk will unlock the machine and members will vote. Okay. Clerk will lock the machine, record the votes. 98 ayes, 0 nays, 2 abstention. HB 197 is passed. Clerk, call the next bill.
On page 28 of the calendar, House Bill number 198 by Representative Shedd relating to the State Board of Licensure for professional engineers and land surveyors.
Chairman Shedd, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Sunset Committee has reviewed this board that was created in 1961 and 1979, and we recommend continuing this board for 4 years through 2027. If there are no questions, Mr. Speaker, I move BIR.
Question for the body is adoption of the BIR. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the votes. 102 ayes, 0 nays, 3 abstentions. BIR passed. Chairman Shedd.
No further questions, Mr. Speaker, I move final passage.
Question is final passage of HB 198. Clerk will unlock the machines and members will vote. Clerk will lock the machines, record the vote. 102 ayes, 0 nays, 3 abstentions. 198 has passed. Clerk, call the next bill.
On page 28 of the calendar, House Bill number 199 by Representative Shedd
Chairman Shedd, I'm sorry. I thought.
Relating to the Alabama Security Regulatory Board.
Chairman Shedd, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Sunset Committee again has reviewed this board, and we recommend 4 years of continued board through 2027. I move BIR for no questions, Mr. Speaker.
Question for the body is passage of the BIR. Clerk will unlock the machines and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the vote. 95 ayes, 0 nays, 6 abstentions. The BIR is passed. Chairman Shedd.
Mr. Speaker, for no questions, I move final passage.
That is the question, is final passage of HB 199. The clerk will unlock machines and members will vote. Clerk will lock machine, record the votes. 96 ayes, 0 nays, 6 abstentions. HB 199 has passed. Clerk, call next bill.
On page 28 of the calendar, House Bill number 200 by Representative Shedd relating to the Alabama Historical Commission.
Chairman Shedd, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Sunset Committee has reviewed the Alabama Historical Commission and appreciate their work and recommend 4 years continuance of the board through 2027. There are no questions, Mr. Speaker. I move BIR.
And that is the question, is the BIR. Clerk will unlock the machine and members will vote. Clerk will lock the machines, record the votes. 101 ayes, 0 nays, 3 abstentions. BIR passed. Chairman Shedd.
Mr. Speaker, for the no questions, I move final passage.
That is the question, is final passage of HB 200. Clerk will unlock machines and members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the votes. 101 ayes, 0 nays, 3 abstention. HB 200 has passed.
Mr. Speaker, thank you and the members, ladies and gentlemen of the House.
Thank you, Chairman Shedd. Clerk, call the next bill.
On page 29 of the calendar, House Bill number 201 by Representative Underwood relating to the State Board of Registration of Architects.
The chair recognizes Chairman Representative
Listen, 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 listen. It's fair. The first bill deserves hazing. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm not, am I recognized?
Representative Underwood.
Yes, sir.
I will never forget your name.
You know, thank you, Mr. Speaker.
This is your first bill, by the way, right?
This is my first bill, yes, sir.
So
Thank you very much.
the gentleman is recognized for
Thank
his.
you, Mr. Speaker. I am bringing House Bill number 201. It relates to the Board for Registration of Architects, and it continues that board for another 4 years into 2027. And at this point, if there's no questions, I'd like to move for the adoption of the BIR.
But there is a question. The chair would like to recognize the gentleman from Etowah, Representative Lipscomb.
It's actually my honor for my first bill to be one that relates to my friend, Mr. Lipscomb, Representative Lipscomb.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the recognition. Representative, I'm no subject on the, I'm no expert on the subject matter, but I was just curious how you came to be the individual who was to carry this bill.
Well, I'm pretty sure it was by request.
Right?
No, it was not by request.
It wasn't by
It
request.
was by the assignment by the chair.
Oh, it was the assignment by the chair.
Yes, sir.
Who was that?
Miss Margie.
Miss Margie.
Yes.
Margie thought that you could carry a bill
Yes, sir.
about architects.
Yes, sir.
And what's your profession?
I'm a CPA.
You're a CPA.
Yes, sir.
And have you ever been involved with an architect before?
Indirectly, yes, sir.
You have any friends who are architects?
I do have a friend that's an architect.
Have you spoken with this friend about your bill at all?
About this bill, no, sir, I did not.
No, you think perhaps they might have given you some clarity on how this bill might be a positive or a negative impact on the architectural community?
That is a good point. My assumption was that my friend, Representative Lipscomb, probably would have come to me in the first place.
Oh, no, 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 that's not how this works.
It's not? It was my assumption that my friend, Mr. Lipscomb, would have come to me in the first place.
Oh, well, you know, I'm here now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, you are.
And so. No, Margie, that's not how this works. I tell you what, today only I will support you.
Yes, sir.
But I can't.
You can't?
No, because I'm going to tell the clerk that I'm going to have to abstain from this vote. I have a vested interest in the bill.
Yes, sir, you do.
But I do want to thank you for coming today and bringing this bill.
Yes, sir.
I hope that others come up and talk to you, but they probably won't.
Yes, sir. Thank you for being so kind to me.
Yes, sir. Thank you for your time. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thanks, sir. The chair recognizes the lady from Jefferson, Representative Van.
Yes, sir. I know, we're good.
I have had my finest moment in this chamber on Sunset Bills. I've gotten some calls this year already. When am I going to have my finest moment in the chamber? It's not yet. I've said that several times. But I would like to know, since, where's Lipscomb? Since he sat down, I would like to know what your vested interest in this bill is that you have to abstain from it.
I'm a registered architect.
Other than the fact that you are a registered architect, is that it?
It may not be an actual.
Okay.
But I'm going to err to the side of say
Okay, I got you. You want to err to the side of safety. But since he brought all of those things to light, would you just share with me, Representative Underwood, and since this is your first bill,
Yes, ma'am.
your first time, is this your first time up in the
My
well?
first time at the well.
Okay, well, good. On an easy bill,
Yes,
a
ma'am.
simple bill.
Well, you never know.
So tell me what your bill is about. I want you to tell me what it is about.
The bill is about renewing a board that has been in place since 1979.
What
for another
board?
4 years. Yes, ma'am.
Really?
Really?
What board? It could be any board, but what you're talking about? The architect board?
Yeah, that's what the bill is about.
Oh, okay. So help me out. Enlighten me. Some of your colleagues asked me to come up here.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Are you interested in relaying to me which colleagues that was?
Absolutely not. I would never disclose my source. As a matter of fact, they swore me to an attorney-client privilege.
It is.
I have nothing else.
I don't really know what to do next.
I thought.
I said, I don't know what to do.
Chair recognizes the gentleman from Lauderdale, Representative Pettis.
Come on. Hello, Representative.
Will the gentleman yield?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The gentleman yields.
Me and you known each other for quite a little time,
Yes, sir.
and we're parked next to each other in an RV park.
Yes, sir.
Can you explain how you got the name of your satellite? I think it's Boo Boo.
Yes. So you know how you can.
I don't think that's germane to this bill.
I was going to ask if I'm required to answer that. The Wi-Fi name is Boo Boo and PG. And the Boo Boo is a joke because she doesn't call me that. The PG is my wife's nickname because she is my pretty girl.
There you- Thank you.
Oh, how sweet. All right, let's go. The question is the passage of the BIR.
Whoosh.
Clerk will unlock the machine, so members will vote.
I got you, man. Thanks.
Clerk will lock the machine, record the vote. 100 ayes, 0 nays, 4 abstention. The BIR is passed. Representative Underwood.
Mr. Speaker, if there are no other questions, I move for final passage of the bill.
I have one light on. The gentleman from Washington, Representative Easterbrook, is recognized.
Mr. Underwood, you said you didn't know what to do next.
Yes,
The
sir.
next step is to motion for adjournment.
Oh, I see it.
Question for the body now is passage of HB 201. Clerk will unlock the machine. The members will vote. Clerk will lock the machines, record the votes. There's 99 ayes, 0 nays, 3 abstention. HB 201 has passed. Let's give him a big hand. Congratulations on your first bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you to the chamber.
Clerk, call next bill.
On page 29 of the calendar, House Bill number 202 by Representative Underwood relating to the Polygraph Examiners Board.
Representative Underwood.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm bringing next House Bill number 202. It is related to the Board of Polygraph Examiners, and the committee requests for that board to be extended for another 4 years. It comes with no significant issues or modifications, and that would be until the year 2027. If there are no questions, I would like to move for the adoption of the BIR.
That is question adoption of the BIR. The clerk will unlock machines. The members will vote. Clerk will lock the machines, record the votes. 100 ayes, 0 nays, 4 abstentions. BR is passed. Representative Underwood.
There are no other questions. I would like to move for final adoption of the bill, please.
Final passage is the question. The clerk will unlock the machine and members will vote.
Gracie's going to handle records.
Clerk will lock the machine, record the votes. 97 ayes, 0 nays, 7 abstentions. HB 202 has passed. Congratulations.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for the time and for making my first bill memorable.
I'm sure it will be for both of us. The chair call the next bill.
On page 29 of the calendar, House Bill number 203 by Representative Pringle relating to the Board of Examiners on admission to the State Bar.
Mr. Pro Tem, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, this continues the examination of admissions board until October 1, 2027. With that, I move adoption of the BIR.
That's questions, adoption of the BIR. Clerk will unlock the machine and members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the votes. 96 ayes, 0 nays, 3 abstentions. BR is passed. Chair, Pro Tem.
Mr. Speaker, I move final passage of House Bill 203.
That's questions, final passage of House Bill 203. Clerk will unlock the machines. The members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the votes. 94 ayes, 0 nays, 5 abstentions. Clerk, call the next bill.
On page 30 of the calendar, House Bill number 204 by Representative Pringle relating to the Alabama Construction Recruitment Institute.
Mr. Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, this continues the existence of the Alabama Construction Recruitment Institute until October 1st, 2026. With that, I move adoption of the BIR.
That's questions, adoption of the BIR. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine and record the votes. 95 ayes, 0 nay, 4 abstentions. BR is passed. Mr. Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move final passage of House Bill 204.
That's the question is final passage of House Bill 204. Clerk will unlock the machine and members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the votes. 96 ayes, 2 nays, 3 abstention. HB 204 has passed. Clerk will call the next bill.
On page 30 of the calendar, House Bill number 205 with substitute by Representative Rafferty relating to the Alabama Athletic Commission.
Representative Bracy, you are recognized.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the recognition. I'll be handling these bills instead of Representative Rafferty today. The Sunset Committee recommends the extension for the Alabama Athletics Commission until October 1, 2027. If there's no questions, I ask for the BIR.
That's a question, the BIR. Clerk will unlock the machine and members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine and record the votes. 98 ayes, 0 nays, and 5 abstentions. The BR is passed. Representative Bracy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Also, we ask that we table the committee substitute. The committee substitute was going to change this from 4 years to 1 year, but we're going to leave it to the recommendation that came from the Sunset Committee. So we ask that we table the committee substitute.
The question before the body is tabling the committee substitute. We have a light on Representative Hall. You are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Would the gentleman yield?
Yes.
I don't have any of these before me because I was told there was no controversy or anything, so I wanted to know the bill that we have before us now with the substitute does what?
So we're tabling the substitute. So what happened, the Sunset Committee recommended 4 years
Okay,
and the substitute was changing it to 1 year,
okay,
but it came back with the recommendation to leave it the way the Sunset Committee originally set it out to be.
and the recommendation came from whom? Who provided the recommendation that to leave it? Was it the members of the committee or was it because they had cleared up everything?
Yes, ma'am. It was members of the committee. They kind of met after the committee. Representative Rafferty initially wanted it to be changed to 1 year. We couldn't get a lot of clarity on why doing the 1 year.
Okay.
So we just decided that we would go ahead and just leave it the way that the Sunset Committee originally recommended it to come out. Because, you know, of course, the Sunset Committee has the responsibility of vetting all of these bills beforehand and giving us the recommendation. So we're just going off of their recommendation.
Was there some controversy, some concern that was raised at the meeting?
I'm not sure about that. I was thinking it was more about trying to get it online with others, but he never reached back out to express any concerns about keeping it that way.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Chair thanks the lady. The question for the body now is the tabling motion of the sub. If you are in favor of tabling, the vote will be aye. If you're not, the vote will be no. Clerk will unlock machine, record the votes. Clerk will lock machine, record the votes. 97 ayes, 0 nays, and 7 abstentions. The sub has been tabled. Representative Bracy.
Yes, Mr. Speaker. If there are no questions, I ask for final passage.
That is the question, is final passage. Clerk will unlock the machine and members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine and record the votes. 96 ayes, 1 nay, 7 abstentions. HB 205 has passed. Clerk, call next bill.
On page 30 of the calendar, House Bill number 206 by Representative Rafferty relating to the Alabama Athlete Agents Commission.
Representative Bracy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is House Bill 206, and the Sunset Committee recommends an extension of 4 years to October 1, 2027. And this is for the Alabama Athletic Agents Commission. If there are no questions, I ask for the BR.
That is the question, is the BIR. Clerk will unlock the machine and members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the votes. 96 ayes, 0 nays, 5 abstentions. The BR is passed. Representative Bracy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I ask for final passage.
This question's final passage. Clerk will unlock the machine. Members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the votes. 97 ayes, 2 nays, 4 abstentions. HB 206 has passed. Clerk, call next bill.
On page 31 of the calendar, House Bill number 207 by Representative Rafferty relating to the Alabama Board of Examiners of Landscape Architects.
Representative Bracy, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is House Bill 207. The Sunset Commission recommends extension for 4 years to October 1, 2027. And this is for the Alabama Board of Examiners of Landscape Architects. If there are no questions, we ask for the BR.
The BR is the question, and HB 207, the clerk will unlock the machines, the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machines and record the votes. 99 ayes, 0 nays, 4 abstentions. The BR for 207 has passed. Representative Bracy.
If there are no questions, we ask final passage.
That is the question, is final passage of HB 207. The clerk will unlock the machines and the members will vote.
Okay.
Clerk will lock the machines, record the votes. 98 ayes, 2 noes, 3 abstentions. HB 207 is passed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and ladies and gentlemen of the body.
Thanks to gentlemen. Clerk, call the next bill.
On page 18 of the calendar, Senate Bill number 113 by Senator Gudger relating to healthcare facilities.
Representative Woods, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I have never been more excited to have an easy name, Wood. Good morning, body. We've had a lot of bills, and I want to talk to you about one that is very important to me. It's hospital visitation. We were able to pass a bill, it was House Bill 521, after COVID or during COVID, for visitors to be able to see their loved ones. The bill was very compromised. Danny Crawford's making signs at me, and I do not read sign language. I'm not sure what that means, but anyway. It was House Bill 521, and the bill just didn't have enough good information to ensure that visitors were able to see their loved ones. So we have a new bill that's been worked on by a lot of people, the hospital administration, nursing homes, healthcare facilities, family members, senators, and House members. This bill says that under existing law, healthcare facilities must follow certain requirements for patients, for visitors, and for residents. But this bill would repeal the existing law that we had. This bill would provide that residents, clients, or patients of a healthcare facility have the right to visit with their individual, even in the midst of COVID. Now, how are we going to accomplish that when we had a bill before that didn't? Mr. Speaker. Thank you. So this bill states that a patient would be able to designate a caregiver, one person per day that would be able to come and stay with them even in the midst of COVID for a minimum of 2 hours. That's the gist of this bill, to ensure that we have the rights to be with our loved ones during their final hours or when they're in a crisis. It's an extremely important bill. If you've ever had a loved one that's passed away, you want to be there with them. So this bill actually puts teeth and does what we tried to do with the first bill. This bill also says that you don't have to show proof of vaccination to get in to see your loved one. It says that you can have children under the age of 18 come and see you as long as they're with the caregiver. So the bill has a lot of great information, and I hope that you are as excited about this bill as I am. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I'll ask for any questions.
The first person recognized for the BR is Chairman Lee. While Chairman Lee is working his way up, we'd like to recognize Representative Ensler's mother is here, Macy, who is visiting for the first time. Let's give her a big hand for being here. Chairman Lee, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just wanted to tell everyone how much the committee supports this. It's a very good bill. You have an amendment that's coming. Once we go through the process and pass a BIR, and the amendment will clarify clergy to be able to come as well. There was some question whether it was included, whether it was not included. And I wanted to make sure, or the sponsor wanted to make sure that clergy was included in this, because there are times when, there's no reason for there to be gray area, and there's certainly no reason for there to be gray area with that. So I'm looking forward to the bill passing with the amendment. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chair recognizes a lady from Jefferson, Ms. Moore.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is a bad bill. I worked in the hospital for over 30 years. Oftentimes, we've had illnesses and diseases spread because patients, family member bring stuff off the street and pass it along. We've had to do hospital lockdown because somebody that had been exposed to something, some bacteria, walked into a hospital, passed it on to the patients who were in critical care. Do you work in a hospital? Are you a doctor, nurse, pathologist, lab tech, venipuncturist, or anything?
No, ma'am.
So you don't know what the staff have to go through because people walk off the street knowing they've been exposed to something and they carry it in on their clothes. Vice versa, it's the same thing with us that work in a hospital. When I went home, I had to change my clothes before I came in contact with my child because also I'm bringing something from the hospital. So what you and your colleagues are doing are opening up hospitals to all types of infections. You could very well, through this bill, cause someone's family member to pass because they've been exposed and they're already in a life-threatening or critical situation. By them exposing them to a bacteria or a virus or fungus that they bring off the street on their clothes, on their shoes, where they track it through the hospital. Some bacteria that you have can come in and everything that you touch will be contaminated. And then you could come, your person can be in intensive care. It could be surgical or it could be critical intensive care. You bring something off the street, you can make their condition worse because you've been exposed and you might not know that you've been exposed. That's why hospitals have to put restrictions on visitation for certain patients and during the pandemic for everybody. It was something that we were totally unfamiliar with, but before I even retired, we knew that we had a virus coming that we were not going to be able to deal with because of the over-medication of patients if they have a sniffle. The doctor gives you the broadest spectrum of antibiotics to take care of. So research had already started. So what you're doing is you could cause hurt, harm, and danger and grief to other people with this bill. And I know y'all gonna pass it because you wanna be the doctor, you wanna be the nurse, you the lawyer, you everything. But you're not using common sense when it comes to the practices that hospitals have to enforce to protect all of their patients. Not just one, not just a friend. And you know, I learned of you through some of your friends when they were in the hospital. And when they were in the hospital, that same situation happened at Brookwood, where somebody brought in an infection that hurt patients that were already on the ward where your friend.
Uh-oh, your mic went out.
Can I have the mic back?
It's on.
Okay. So that happened to your friend and ended up with their stay being at the hospital longer because somebody inadvertently had been exposed to some bacteria and brought it into the hospital.
May I appreciate all of your knowledge. You have so much more knowledge than many of us have. I recognize that. In the bill, it does say that if there's protocols, there are protocols for someone to have to wear a gown, to have to wear a
No,
mask.
ma'am, that don't help.
In the bill, it does state that.
Look here, unless you come in and you're going into intensive care and you coming off the street, unless you're gonna scrub down because we carry the bacteria on our skin, your face, your hair, your clothes, you can put a gown on all day. Still, if you haven't scrubbed down, you haven't protected those patients. You haven't done that on your shoes. You walk and track things into the hospital, bacteria, viruses, wherever they landed, you know, they ride on dust. And wherever they settle, you might have touched something. Then when you come in, you touch something that's already contaminated, not knowing that. That's how we get sick. We touch different things. We rub our face. We ended up getting it in either in our mouth or our nasal passage. Then we're also infected. But this bill and the preventions you got in here does not work. It does not work. So we have to go beyond that to restrict patients, visitors coming in on a lot of different circumstances. And unless you're the epidemiology and know about it, we just can't be everything. But it's good that we have within the legislature people that have worked in various professions. But I know because of the way your party is structured, you still have passed the bill knowing, because I'm telling you, you're causing somebody their life, because somebody gonna walk off the street that's already been exposed to some form of contamination. They're gonna go into a patient's room, whether it's in a surgical intensive care or critical care unit, and then that person is gonna be infected at the weakest point of their life. They're not gonna be able to throw off that you bring in also. You know, within hospitals, we also had a problem of just nosocomial infections, and that's just bacteria that's in the hospital itself. That's why you're constantly cleaning. You're constantly cleaning. So now you're putting another factor in there to could cause your family member a problem, could cause my family member a problem. Because the legislator, y'all are trying to be the everything. You the epidemiologist, you everything. If we need something in law, you the lawyers, you everything. You know, and that's just not right, that we should be able to restrict the professions, the professionals. You don't know what those employees battle every day just to keep us and our family members safe when they come in the hospital. I'm not going to continue to talk because I know it's falling on deaf ears, because I heard Mr. Lee say the committee liked it. So if the committee like it, y'all don't care about what happens to other people's family member. And I can promise you, it could very well come back to one of y'all family members when they're in a hospital, while you're taking away the hospital's authority to provide restrictions in certain cases. Counting up won't do. You have something like COVID, you could track it in. You have some forms of staph, you could track it in. It's so deadly and rides so on a piece of dust. It's on your clothes, it's everywhere. But because it's something you want to do, it'll happen. But it's wrong. And I'm telling you, all of those patients in the future that are exposed because somebody off the street that should not have been going into the hospital brings in some level of contamination, then that's on y'all's hand, because that's what you all do. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you for your comments.
The chair recognizes the representative from Marion, Representative Estes. Be the third person to speak on the BR.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for the recognition. Will the lady yield?
Yes.
First of all, I just want to say thank you for bringing this bill. As you know, I had the honor and privilege to work with a dear friend's family who we lost during this process, and they were unable to visit him for the last several weeks of his life. I want everybody in the chamber to understand that while you nor I have healthcare experiences, we had healthcare professionals involved in this process. That very first luncheon that Senator Gudger and I had with the Sox family in Coleman, we had a nurse and a hospital administrator involved in that process that told us we could make this work. And being told by hospitals and nursing homes that it could not work was not true.
That's right.
And so we've had that ace in the hole from the very beginning. I'm honored. I would like to recognize, if I could at this moment, Miss Bonnie Sox is with us today. If she would stand. Miss Bunny lost her husband, Harold. They're from my district in Winston County, and I appreciate them being here today, along with other family members that have lost loved ones in this process and who were directly impacted. So not only am I grateful to be a supporter of this bill, I really appreciate you bringing it, and I'm honored to stand here today in memory of my friend and support what you're doing.
Thank you, Representative Estes, and you have been a champion throughout this whole ordeal. And I want to thank you for how hard you've worked. Thank you.
The chair recognizes the gentleman from Blunt, Representative Standridge, be the fourth person to speak on the BIR.
Who did he call?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the recognition. I just want to come, Representative Wood. I'm here to support you on this bill and your work over the years on what you've done on this issue. I can tell you that during the shutdown and during this COVID time, I had some of the most, the worst calls I've had in my life from people that were going through these issues where they had, elderly parents that had go in the hospital that couldn't explain their problems and didn't have anybody there to advocate for them, at their bedside. And just, it was just heart wrenching, what they were going through and trying to figure out when they knew that they were in there and they didn't have anybody to help them and assist them and be with them during those, especially the ones during those last days. And I just appreciate that. We've also had some personal family members that have had those same things happen. And so what you're doing, I just want to share my support for you and thank you for doing this work, and look forward to supporting you on the vote.
I remember a call from you telling me that you had a constituent that just wanted to be there and couldn't be there. And I want to say this in no way villainizes anyone that works in the healthcare field. They are our greatest asset. Our healthcare workers are wonderful people. And this bill does address the fact that we have to do the same protocol as those healthcare workers. We have to wear the same equipment that they wear if we're in the midst of a pandemic. And if those gowns, those masks, those gloves can keep them well and healthy, they can keep us well and healthy. So there are protocols in this bill to ensure that everyone stays healthy and we still have access. And that is what we're after. And I appreciate you so much.
Well, I know some of these same families that I talked to you about and others, they sat in the parking lot for days just wanting to hear something and hoping to hear something. And the healthcare workers did all they could
They did.
to try to help
Absolutely.
them. They
Absolutely.
did, but they were limited, on what they could do. And so what you're doing, I just appreciate your work and I fully support you.
Thank you.
The chair would like to recognize leadership of Togga County. Guests are Representatives Lawrence, Starnes, and Smith. Let's give them a big hand for being here with us today. Members, the question before the body is adoption of the BIR on HB 113. Clerk will unlock the machines and the members will vote.
Sorry.
All the members voted.
You need another one? Okay.
Clerk will lock the machine and record the votes. 99 ayes, 3 nays, 2 abstentions. The BR has passed. Representative Wood.
Thank you. If there's no more questions, I'll ask for final passage. Oh, I have a floor amendment, sir. I'm sorry. Floor amendment.
The chair recognizes the gentleman from Shelby, Representative Mooney.
Where'd he go?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's just an honor and a privilege to thank you for the opportunity to have had the chance to work with you and Senator Gudger on this bill. It's especially meaningful because of the close friendship I had with Harold Sox and his family. And also the joy of seeing us in this body go from a process where we were in committee yesterday recognizing the dignity of life at birth and the loss of life at birth, and this bill recognizing the dignity of life and the loss of life at these points in times when our loved ones are so ill. We're a state that recognizes life and puts it in our Constitution and the statutes of our state, and that's a worthy thing for us to be known by. Thank you.
And I thank you for your encouragement. You called me quite often and said, we got to fix this. So I appreciate you very much.
The chair recognizes Leadership Blunt from Blount County. There are Representative Guest or Representative Standridge and Shedd. Let's give them a big hand today. Thank you for being with us. The chair would like to recognize the gentleman from Jefferson, Representative Rogers.
I got somebody online who talk about this bill. Does Massa support this bill?
Yes, sir.
Does Massa support this bill?
Does who support?
Massa.
Massa?
M-A-S-A.
I have worked
American
locally.
Association of Alabama.
I have worked locally with Dane Howard and Christy DeGraffenreid with the Nursing Home Association and the Hospital Association.
So American Association of Alabama supports this bill. They said he supported. I don't know. I'm listening. Just stay on the phone. This bill, I've called some medical facilities. I got them on the phone. They're saying this bill said the physician has a right to make a decision about who comes in to see a patient. That's the physician's right. I got them on the phone listening to the debate. If you don't mind, I'll tell you what, because I called them and asked them a question.
Well, the senator upstairs that carried the bill said that they are in agreement.
I don't care who carried it. They're against it. And I got University of Alabama UAB on the phone right now talking so they can hear the debate. So I called them. I said, they said this bill here, okay. I gave them sentences. I said, y'all need to get on this bill. They don't support this bill. And they said, because of the fact that some patients, the doctor had to make a decision whether somebody could come visit that patient or not. That's a medical decision sometimes. So now they're telling me that this slipped up on them, Senate Bill 113, and they'll get right on it. So that's why I call them, because it sounds like you take away a little authority there. And I love you to death, but I had to call. They called me anytime they saw this bill because it violates, it hurts them. Now y'all can vote on it all you want to, but I think you're driving the position who might, Sam Jones might be in the hospital or something. And they don't want nobody to come see him because they might bring something in that he don't know they got. His condition might not allow him to be around anybody. And then you give him a death sentence because you got folk coming in there seeing will make him sicker.
Did Representative Rogers, did you lose anyone through COVID?
Beg pardon?
Did you lose any loved ones during COVID?
Well, COVID was a bad thing.
It was a bad thing.
And it's still around. It's not over with. But this is why the physician, the hospital, has to have that authority to say, I don't want people come in the hospital and visit folks that go be further the situation. Okay. That's unfair to the patient. I want to see my brother. I want to see my father. I want to see him, but the hospital can tell me, no, your condition is such vulnerable, we don't want to take any chance of any kind of contamination happening. So therefore, we restricted that.
Could you check with your source, Representative Rogers? I didn't mean to cut you off, sir. Because according to
right now
mine, they helped write this bill.
Well, my source is Medical Association of Alabama.
Okay.
And I want the Medical Association of Alabama, I know you're on the lobby you talk about, they need to come tell me that they support this. Right now, nobody's saying they supported it. Massa has support. That's the Medical Association of Alabama.
Now, Representative Rogers, you've been here a long time. You've got a lot of seniority, and you know things don't get through committee if people do not support it.
Hey, I know that, but
Okay.
but I need one question. I need answer. If the American Association of Alabama don't support it, it's not a good idea. Nobody can tell me.
Well, they do support it. That's what I'm telling you. They were at the table when the bill was written.
Master was at the table. Okay, she said Master was at the table. All right, they call him Master right now. They call him Master right now and find out I'm talking to UAB on the phone right now, but this is just debate. If you don't mind, I'm gonna tell you what I'm doing, so that's why the phone is on. They say, go up there and tell them that should be between the physician at the hospital to make that decision solely. Now, would you want somebody else to make that decision who's not medically inclined just because you want to see grandmama? Because you want to see your husband. Your husband might be the one, your sister might be carrying the disease that'll further come to care what you got. So therefore, the physician should make that decision through the hospital, not to have you see anybody for a certain period of time. You take away that physician's right to decide whether or not somebody's going to bring further contamination to you because you're supposed to be in a sterile environment. And I'm just telling you what they're telling me now. So I can't support this until I have a firm answer for that. And I'll call the senator that ask him that does Master support this? Have they seen this bill? Because right now on the face of it, it doesn't look like it's right. If I'm in the hospital, you in the hospital, critically condition, and I know grandmama wants to see her baby for the last time, but if grandma come in the hospital, she gonna further complicate the patient being able to recover because she might have this, she might not have it, but she might have something that would cause further degradation of the patient. She might not have it, but why would you take a chance on granddaddy, grandmama, your husband, your sister coming into the hospital to visit you, and the doctor has no decision on it, whether it can come in or not, and further complicate your illness?
I appreciate all of your comments, but I choose to stand with those people who want access to their loved ones. With protocols from the hospital, we're not saying our healthcare facilities that we're not going to follow their guidelines. Whatever guidelines they have for their employees, we're going to follow those as well.
Okay.
So if they can keep them healthy and well to come in, they can keep us healthy.
Suppose you're sick. I know you look good and healthy now.
Don't make me sick.
Hey, and you're in the hospital, and Dr. Joe said, well, we don't want anybody visiting her at this point because of the fact that it might further complicate the situation. I know grandmama, I know her husband wants to see her so bad, we got to see her. You're overriding the doctor and you're overriding the medical staff at the hospital. And it shouldn't be that way. They should have the final decision whether I want Robert or Bob or John Doe to come to the hospital and see that patient, because it not only affects that patient, it's going to affect other patients in the hospital also. Because you don't know what that person is carrying yourself, and you want it so sterile, but when they come in there, they might be carrying something you don't even know they carry. But you're such a fragile condition, any slight thing could cause you to have a recline, might go backward. So they know and we don't. So now I haven't talked to Senator
Gudger,
but I will. And then plus the fact, I don't like Senate bills anyway. Mr. Speaker, tell you that. Anytime I see a Senate bill, I want to see a House bill passed. He knows my feeling about that. But I'm going to get past any Senate bill this early anyway.
well, the Senate bill transmitted with an amendment, and it was through committee, through the Senate, much quicker than our body could have gotten to it. And so to me, this bill is about people having access, not about my name being on a bill. So that's why we wanted to go ahead and get it on the calendar.
But that's my personal feeling about Senate bills right now. He knows that. But really, it's a bad, I think it's a bad precedent to take that authority away from a hospital. I really feel that way. And I'm just following advice I'm getting on the telephone from University of Alabama in Birmingham.
Thank you, Representative Rogers.
And I need to know whether Massa has approved and went through this, and I know if they haven't, I don't see where they. I mean, I'm gonna call. I can't. If the bill passed, I guess I did the hospitals and then fight the bill later on.
Well, the good thing is when the bill passes, if you choose for your family to not have an essential caregiver and not have access, you can make that choice.
Yeah, but
without choice.
that caregiver might be your last caregiver you see. So they might have something that'll send you on out of here. That might be your last. It may be the last time you see anybody in your family.
Well, I hope I'm holding my husband's hand when it happens.
Well, but your husband might have something he shouldn't be there with. He might be the reason you won't leave him. So the doctor got to make that decision from the facility. We should make that decision. That should be left to the hospital and your doctor, whether or not you can receive somebody. But you don't know. I mean, you might be in that critical condition that you can't see anybody, but you can't take any chances of what they may have that'll further take you out of here. This is what they're telling me on the phone. Now I'm just following their lead from UAB here and their doctors. That's why I had it on the phone so they can hear the debate.
Well, before your time is over, I want to be sure you know the senator is here if you want to speak to him about the bill. He's back there. Yeah, go ahead.
I want to talk to
you. I'm sorry. Already gave it. Yeah.
The gentleman's time has expired.
Polly.
Amendment to Senate Bill number 113 by Representative Wood D.
Chairman Lee.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We've talked through this, and a lot of this has been in and out of this bill 2 or 3 times, my understanding. What this bill does is what I spoke about earlier. It clarifies the clergy in. Replace line 109 on page 4 with the following subdivision 1. Healthcare facilities shall allow a resident, client, or patient to have in-person visitation with a member of the clergy in the same manner the visitation is provided to an essential caregiver. Let me clarify something in the bill. There are different rules that different hospitals have. Sometimes it comes through CMS, sometimes it's their own rules for their employees. If they're in a pandemic, the rules change. It changes from week to week according to what it is. In that particular week, if the employees are required to wear mask, a complete suit, bodysuit, whatever the case is, these visitors have to wear the same thing. It's not like they're going to walk in on the streets and not have any kind of precaution. So whatever the employees are having to deal with in that hospital and whatever they're required to wear, that visitor will have to wear and follow the same guidelines. With that being said, I bring the amendment.
And that's a friendly
Clerk,
amendment.
receive the amendment.
I'm sorry, Mr. Speaker. That's a friendly amendment.
It is a friendly amendment.
Yes.
Amendment to Senate Bill number 113 by Representative Lee.
Question for the body now is to receive the floor amendment. Clerk will unlock a machine, record the votes. Clerk will lock the machine, record the votes. 1 ayes, 0 nays, 4 abstention. The amendment has passed.
Thank you.
Representative Wood. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. If there's no other questions, I'd ask for final passage.
That is the question. Final passage of HB 113. Clerk will unlock the machines and the members will vote. So all the members voted. Clerk will lock the machines, record the vote. 100 ayes, 1 nay, 4 abstention. SB 113 has passed. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, body. Body, I would like
He recognizes the lady.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to recognize the Sox family, and they, Mr. Harold Sox. Oh, I cannot. I'm sorry. Oh. He said only you can do it.
Go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to recognize the Harold Sox family. They have been instrumental in pushing for this, and we love y'all. Stand. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair thanks the lady. Good work. The chair would like to recognize leadership Tuscaloosa, the Tuscaloosa delegation, as well as West Alabama Chamber of Commerce. Let's give them a big hand. Thank you for being with us today. The chair recognizes Pro Tem, Mr. Pro Tem.
What? Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Mr. Speaker, I haven't voted on the, I move to reconsider the BR vote on House Bill 108.
The question before the body is to reconsider the BIR on House Bill 108. Seeing no lights on, the clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machines, record the vote. 86 ayes, 0 nays, 15 abstention. The BR has passed. Okay, the question now is the vote on the BIR on HB 108. Clerk will unlock the machine, record the votes. Clerk will lock the machine, record the vote, 75 ayes, 1 nay, 24 abstentions. The BR has passed. Question now is final passage on HB 108. Clerk will unlock the machine, record the votes. Clerk will lock the machine, record the votes. HB 108. 44 ayes, 0 nays, 59 abstention. The bill has passed. Thank you. Clerk, call the next bill.
On page 7 of the calendar, House Bill number 109 by Representative Collins relating to the Alabama Credential Quality and Transparency Act.
Chairperson Collins, you are recognized.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I appreciate this. House Bill 109 is based on some recommendations, 9 recommendations from the Alabama Workforce Council. This bill includes 8 of them. It does 3 different acts to promote workforce and our students being ready for that workforce. The first act is the Alabama Credential Quality and Transparency Act, which would create a credential registry. The credentials of value would be decided by the Workforce Council and then published by the department. The next is Career Pathways Act, which would allow students to see what are the in-demand jobs in their area. Not only those students, but even their families to see what are those in-demand jobs in this area and what does it take to be able to qualify for those jobs. Is it a degree? Is it a credential, certification, whatever that might be. And so hopefully that increases our workforce participation. And then the last codifies what our state board did with the Alabama College and Career Readiness Act, saying that students, in order to graduate, will have to have a college ready indicator or career ready indicator, and we have 9 of those. Mr. Speaker, I'm happy to answer any questions, but ask that we adopt the BIR.
The question is the BIR. We do have lights on. The first one is Representative Hurst from Talladega. Be the first person to speak on the BIR.
Okay.
While he's headed down here, I want to recognize Lee County Young Leaders, high schools across Lee County. The guests are Representative Gray, Wood, Oliver, Blackshear, Fincher, Warren, and Lovern. Let's give them a big hand. Thank y'all for being with us today. Representative Hirsch, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you all to give great consideration to this bill. She's worked very hard on it. It's one person that's been preaching about workforce development ever since I've been here. And I've gone from long bills to short bills to no bills, et cetera, and I've hooped and hollered and raised Cain because we got to get workforce out in Alabama. If we don't, in a few more years, businesses will not come here because you don't have the workforce. And before long, businesses want to expand and can't get the workforce, they're going somewhere else. So in view of that, I just want to tell you thank you. And any way I can help you, that's what I wanted to do.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Representative Hurst.
Chair, thanks, gentlemen. Chair recognizes a lady from Madison, Representative Hall.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Lady Yield.
Yes.
I am so sorry because I did not think we were going to do the special order calendar.
Surprise.
I know, but that means I'm not prepared. So would you, because there are no more special order calendars up here, are you able to tell me exactly what those are? Do you have the college ready indicators?
I do.
Listed and career ready?
And they're the ones that are used on the A through F for the indicators for that percentage, that weighting. For college ready, it's scoring a benchmark score on the ACT test that all our students take, or being an IB graduate, International Baccalaureate, or successfully passing an AP course, advanced placement course, or dual enrollment. So you've shown in some way you're ready for college. On the career pathway, it would be.
Let's stop right there at college. The grade point average grade point averages are not factored into that at all?
No.
Okay. All right.
College ready or career ready would be things like scoring a silver or gold on a work keys exam, having a credential of value that you got in high school, having a career tech focus in your instruction in high school, being an apprentice, pre-apprentice in high school, military ready, taking the ASVAB. So a lot of choices for both, and we have funding in the budget to help any schools that are needing to advance maybe some of their career tech opportunities for their school. They can use some of that money for that.
So give me an example of using those funds in a career tech.
If you've got a career tech something, a lot of times those are medical labs, or they're construction type labs, or they're welding. There are different things like that. And so those are sometimes expensive to put in. And so that's what that funding would
Is there a limit on the amount?
It's a grant process, I believe, that it's being.
But I mean,
used.
does that limit the amount? Is it like 10,000? Because the equipment is.
I don't think there is a limit on it, but I'm sure whoever's making the decision on that grant would be making sure it was within reason.
Okay. And the grant process is already in place?
I believe so. This might be new money in this year's budget that we're talking about, but I know that we've been trying to make sure all our schools are prepared to have their students college or career ready now. And this is something that the school board did as well. So this is just codifying something that they have passed.
So if the school board is in line, I'm looking for where the funds are. And if they're going to be adequate funds I would think there'll be several schools that would not have the equipment or materials that's needed.
I think most of them have something right now, but they may have some things they'd like to add. And we want to make sure that students have the most opportunities as possible. And one thing that's really been good too is a lot of because this supports that local business and industry, a lot of those are willing to actually put their funding in to make sure. So it all works together.
I've seen that. I think that takes care of it. Maybe I'll be better prepared with the other bills. Thank you.
Thank you.
The chair recognizes the lady from Calhoun, Representative Boyd, second person to speak on the BR. Question now is final, or is passage of the BIR. Clerk will unlock the machines. The members will vote. All the members voted. Clerk will lock the machine, record the votes. 105 ayes, 0 nays. The BR has passed. Chairperson Collins.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm still happy to answer questions, but I move for final passage.
That's the question, is final passage of HB 109. The clerk will unlock the machines and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the
Mr.
machines and
Speaker-
record the votes.
Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
I was just waiting on you, Terry.
Okay, I'm sorry. I should have been on my toes.
104 ayes, 0 nays. HB 109 has passed. Congratulations. Good bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, body. And I've been asked if you would open it up for co-sponsors.
We will do that.
Thank
Let's,
you.
Mr. Clerk, let's open it up for co-sponsors. Clerk will lock the machines, record the votes. 80 co-sponsors on HB 109. Thank you. The chair would like to recognize the lady from Calhoun, Dr. Boyd, for a point of personal privilege.
Oh, yeah, Garrett needs to talk to me about that.
Thank you so much for the recognition. I have a time since resolution, and I ask that the rules be suspended to.
That is a question for a time-sensitive resolution. All those in favor of suspending the rules say aye. Any opposed?
Thank you
Dr.
so
Boyd.
much. On Thursday of next week is AKA Day at the Capitol. This resolution is to be presented to our regional director who will be in attendance at this time. So
Members of the motion to adopt, all in favor? Dr. Boyd, you through?
I wanted another motion for the whole house.
Okay.
Do we have to do them one at a time? All right, that's the first.
Okay, we have a motion to adopt. You in favor of that, say aye. Any opposed? The motion has been adopted. Dr. Boyd.
All right, I ask that the whole house be signed on as co-sponsors, and then one other thing after that, if that.
Yes, ma'am. Question is for the House to sign on as co-sponsors. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? The House has been added as co-sponsors. Dr. Boyd, you're
All right,
recognized.
the last one is the best one. You wonder why you'll see a lot of pink and green. We're asking that everyone do that. Why? We're in our communities and the green represents money. So we want cooperation from all of you. We're very active. So therefore, that is the purpose of you wearing something pink or something green to work together for the economy. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker, for the recognition.
Thank you, Dr. Boyd. Clerk, call the next bill on the calendar.
On page 21 of the calendar, House Bill number 115 by Representative Garrett with substitute relating to taxation.
Chairman Garrett.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the recognition.
Members, over the past several sessions, we have been doing, as a body, modest tax cuts. We did things last year to, for example, eliminate the business privilege tax, the minimum business privilege tax. We exempted the first $40,000 of personal property from ad valorem taxes. We reduced the taxes, Alabama taxes for taxpayers who make less than $50,000. We also provided for exemptions for taxpayers who are 65 years or older who are pulling their money from withdrawals from a defined contribution plan. We've done things with apportionment, a number of things over the years, and collectively we've added, they add up. Today we have two modest tax cuts in that same spirit of tax reduction. The first one is we're on HB 115. HB 115. And what this does is basically reduce the top tax rate, which is applicable to most people in Alabama. If you make over $6,000, you're taxed at 5%. This would reduce that over a 4-year period by 0.01% a year to get you down to 4.95% as a tax rate. That gets us below 5%. That's a step in the direction of reducing income taxes. Collectively, in the fiscal note, it would ultimately be a $57 million impact to the Education Trust Fund. So it's significant to the Education Trust Fund budget. $6 million next year, $15 million the year after that, $26 million, then $38 million, then $51 million, ultimately $57 million reduction. And this again would reduce the top tax bracket from 5% to 4.95%. I do have a substitute, which what the sub does is make technical changes. When the bill was initially drafted, they began with year 2022. They should have began with year 2023. So we just changed the years for over the period of time that we phase this in. So with that, do I move to adopt the BIR? I asked for the BIR.
Questions, the BIR. We do have a lot on. Representative Hall from Madison, you're recognized. The question for the body is adoption of the BIR. The clerk will unlock the machines and members will vote. Everybody voted. Clerk will lock the machine, record the votes. 105 ayes, 0 nays. BR has been adopted. The chair recognizes the lady from Madison, Representative Hall.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm not sure if I'm up on this today, Mr. Garrett. You're moving too fast. Anybody that's making more than $3,000.
An individual making more than $3,000 or a couple making more than $6,000, which is most people in Alabama pay a 5% income tax. This will ultimately reduce that to 4.95%.
Okay, and is this our way of giving back? I'm trying to determine what is prompt us at this point.
Alabama is already a very low tax state. We've in fact had the lowest tax collections per capita of any state in the country. So we have a very low tax situation as it is. But we want to continue to target tax cuts and help people that need help. And so I think getting reducing our taxes in a modest way that doesn't jeopardize our budgets is important. We are heavily dependent, unlike most states, on income tax and sales tax for our budgets. And so income tax is 65% of the Education Trust Fund. We have to be careful what we do in that regard with income taxes. But this is a step toward tax reduction, getting our top tax rate below 5%, which is, I think, a good thing. And it will help people. It will put money in people's pockets, but reduce the tax burden from already being the lowest tax burden in the country.
What's our top tax level at this point?
If you make over $6,000, we start taxing you at $3,000 individually. We start taxing you at 5%. So you remember last year, one of the tax cuts we made was we raised the standard deduction and the exemptions for taxpayers making less than $50,000 to try to put money into their pockets. So that was a targeted group of a lot of people in Alabama who make below the median income to get them some tax relief. And this now is a tax benefit that will apply to everybody in Alabama who pays taxes above that minimum bracket. We start taxing you pretty low. The next bill I have is going to eliminate that lowest tax bracket But this bill right here is just providing a tax reduction on the tax rate that most Alabamians pay over a 4-year period. And again, it's $57 million impact to the Education Trust Fund.
But so, but the interesting thing about this is you said $3,000. I mean, we know that even that's little or no money.
Yeah, but again, we are heavily dependent upon income and sales taxes in this state.
Yes.
And that's, again, income tax is 65% of our Education Trust Fund.
Is this going to be in as a substitute for what the governor promised, the $400 or the $200?
This is unrelated. That was that the government talked about a rebate out of a
Right.
supplemental appropriation.
Right,
That's something this body will discuss.
Right.
This is unrelated to that. This is just merely changing the top tax rate. I'll also say I expect to see, I already know this, in our committee, we already have a number of other bills that reduce other taxes. And I expect we'll have the discussions on those. But these are ones that we feel like Senator Orr and I both are in agreement. This is something we should do to help provide tax relief. It's something that we can do that's sustainable, doesn't jeopardize Education Trust Fund. We will consider all the other things as well. This body will decide about rebates. The body will decide about other tax reductions as they come forward.
Is it also because we have so much money that we feel like this is a good time to do?
No, I think even in time, going back before COVID, when we didn't have the surplus we have now, which every state has a surplus.
Sure.
And we have a surplus because of the $60 billion of federal money that's come into the state that has spurred income and sales tax. Because when you spend money, we benefit as a state.
Of course.
When you don't spend money, we fall off the cliff. So that's why we have to be careful what we do. But this is something we've been doing for several sessions prior to even COVID, was we've been trying to look at how we can modify taxes and reduce taxes on individuals. However, we need to keep in mind we are already the lowest tax state in the country. So we're starting at the very bottom, going lower. And we feel like with the growth of the state, with the growth of the economy, with the conservative budgeting we've had, the fiscal responsibility we've had, we feel like we can do this, absorb this without jeopardizing the budgets.
And this will begin in 24.
That's right. Next year.
And that's so 24 for 5 years through 29.
That's right.
And the impact of the loss is 57.3 million.
Right. Annually.
And so with that amount, that does cause, but I can't go through any more questions other than the fact that since I just picked up the bill, I had no idea we were going to move this fast on it, but thank you.
Thank you.
Sure. Thanks, lady. Chairman Garrett, I recognize we've got a sub on here. You want to explain your sub?
Yeah, the substitute makes the technical changes, which basically the bill is originally drafted, started with fiscal year 22. So it numbered the 5 consecutive years one off. We need to start with the year 23. So it just corrects the date, the start date and the end date. Changing 2022 to 2023, changing 2023 to 2024. So we're beginning in 2024, but it states at the beginning that the tax rate it starts out by saying the tax rate as of today, which is 2022, that was a typo, should have been 2023. So it's just changing the date.
You have heard the explanation of the sub. The clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Has all the members voted?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. Yeah.
Clerk will lock the machine, record the votes, 105 ayes, 0 nays. The sub has been adopted. Chairman Garrett.
Mr. Speaker, I've been asked to open this bill for co-sponsors. Oh, I'm sorry, final passage. I'm out of practice, but final passage.
Me and you both. The question for the body is final passage of HB 115. Clerk will unlock the machines. Members will vote. All the members voted. 105 ayes, 0 nays. HB 115 has passed.
Thank you, members. I've been asked to open this up for co-sponsors.
Sponsor would like to open up for co-sponsors. If you want to co-sponsor HB 15, clerk will unlock the machine. Members vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the vote. 99 co-sponsors.
Thank you. Thank you, members.
Clerk, call next bill.
On page 20 of the calendar, House Bill number 116 with substitute by Representative Garrett relating to taxation.
Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the recognition. This is another one of the tax bills that we believe we should pass. I think we need to continue to work on this area. Right now in Alabama, we begin taxing you after you make $500. So the first $500 of income, we tax you at 2%. If you're a married couple filing jointly, the first $1,000, we tax you at 2%. This bill would eliminate that 2% tax bracket, so we would no longer tax the first $500 of income or the first $1,000 on a joint return. To give you an example, someone who works, maybe a student that works in the summer who makes the first $500 they make, we take Alabama tax. This would be the extreme example where we wouldn't do that. So this would eliminate that 2% tax bracket, meaning we would no longer tax you the first $500 of income you make. That's a $25 million impact per year to the Education Trust Fund. And we do have a substitute for the same reason as the previous bill. But I would ask for the BIR.
Question for the body is a BIR on HB 116. The clerk will unlock the machine and members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the votes. 105 ayes, 0 nays. The BIR has passed. Chairman Garrett, explain your sub.
The substitute is the same change as we had in the previous bill. It's changing the beginning point of the effective date and each subsequent year, so it's a technical change.
You heard the explanation of the sub. Clerk will unlock the machine and members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the votes. 104 ayes, 0 nays. Sub has been passed. Chairman Garrett.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll move for final passage.
This question is final passage of HB 116. Clerk will unlock the machines and the members will vote. All the members voted. Clerk will lock the machine and record the votes. 105 ayes, 0 nays. HB 116 has passed. Thank you, Chairman Garrett.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, members. We just cut taxes, $82 million for citizens of Alabama. We'd like to open this up for co-sponsors.
That's the questions. Open it up for co-sponsors. Everybody wants a co-sponsor. Clerk will unlock the machine. The members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine and record the vote. 105 co-sponsors. Congratulations, Mr. Garrett.
Thank you.
Two good deals. The chair would like to recognize the gentleman from Mobile, Pro Tem Pringle.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, remember we will meet next Tuesday at 1. With that, I move the House stand in adjournment.
All in favor? We are adjourned.